Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Asphalt and Aprons with me, Donkey.
I'm Trog, and with us this afternoon, we have two fantastic guests from where the sun's fallen. We have Scotland, we have Strawbs, our president, and Subway, our vice president. Welcome along, guys.
Thanks, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
And today we're going to be chatting all things Masonic Riding Associations. Yes, you've been waiting ages to find out more about bikes and Masonic riding, so it's here now. We're going to find out what they stand for, how they like in Brotherhood, Freemasonry, and where the Brotherhood of the Road. So let's dive straight in there. For anyone new to this and new to Freemasonry and new to the bikes and Masonic Riding Associations, what is a Masonic Riding Association? And you can pick how you can decide who's going to answer this.
Well, I can go from what Google says, right? And then we can go from there. So when you mention the Masonic Riders Association, which is an MRA, you're almost certainly referring to Widow Sons Masonic Riders Association. So in this context, the distinction between a Riders Association, which is in Scotland, and a Bikers Association, which is in England, is very intentional. While the terms are sometimes used interchangeably, the organisation uses Riders Association to carefully distance itself from the outlaw or gang connotations often associated with the word biker. So there you go. So the Widow Sons is an international association for master masons who ride motorcycles. They are not a motorcycle club, MC, in the traditional sense, but they reckon we are a Masonic booster club.
All right.
I see that through the associate side.
What's your thoughts on that, Jess? Do you agree, disagree, almost agree?
I would agree with the principle that yeah, we are a Riders Association rather than a Bikers Association, because as a group we don't adhere to the typical MC rules and regulations, more in line with Masonic the rules that we adhere to in the Masonic Lodge. We kind of try and promote that. Are unique, I think, here in Scotland, that we have the association side of things, where we have non-Masons, which is what Trog said, it's a feeder to potentially get new Masons on board.
And just on that, we have been fortunate for people who have obviously joined Solomon's Guard. They've obviously taken that step, and we've had several candidates who have moved in to become.
I think all over Scotland we've had 9 or 10 so far,
right? Yep.
In the few years that we've been running, go into different lodges all over Scotland. So that's not a bad thing.
To me, it's very positive. Positive from one, we've got the common interest of motorcycles, and then secondly, it then leads into we've had people who start with the motorcycles moved into the Masonic lodge side. They're obviously taking that further.
Yeah,
through their own choice.
Quite a few of them are very active in the lodge as well, not just a case of joining it to wear that badge.
So just on that, is it mainly about bikes, or is it mainly about Freemasonry, or is it finding that balance of a bit of both, or what the individuals?
I think it is a balance. The Masons in our group, we all have Masonic values for charity, and that side of things is predominant in the group. But we also have the lighter side, where we all have a joke and a laugh. The banter's a really big part, I think, of our group. We do take the mickey at each other.
Ever so slightly.
Probably one of the worst for taking the mickey out of people, but I take it as well as I give it. I think it puts people at ease as well when you can see that we can have a joke and a laugh. We're not too serious. Yeah, the Masonic side of the thing, we'll do what we've got to do in a Masonic Lodge, but when we're out and about on the bikes, it's a less regimented.
It's more relaxed.
Aye.
We do our necessary duties for the Masonic side, but likewise we've got the social side.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I look towards both. Obviously, I like to fulfil my duties, the Masonic side, and uphold my that side. But likewise, from the social side, it's good to meet people away from. Not only do we do the biking, we obviously do the social events as well, which is to me an advantage.
And the good thing about that is as well, it's those values. They're interchangeable.
Yes.
So you're coming from the lodge with exactly the same values as you're taking on a bike run, or when you're meeting us up for lunch, for breakfast, or a social evening, anything like that. Those same values follow you no matter where you're going.
That's right. And it's good to I also like for me personally, I like the organisation. You've got, I don't know if hierarchy is the right word, but obviously we've got our president, vice president, etc. Structure, you've got your structure. And it's good that, again, when we're out in the motorbikes, we do have that structure. You've got your, ultimately, road captain, if that's what we want to call him. You've got your leader, and then we've got I call them wingmen, that way there's no titles, but you've got your wingmen who basically organise it and basically take it forward, ultimately looking after the group. You've got your people at the back, people at the front. So, to me, it's all organised and it's a controlled manner.
It's interesting, Strawbs saying there about the banter, which makes people feel at ease. The bit I relate to that in the lodge is when you've got a piece of ritual to learn for the first time and you're nervous about it or you're going through something, and then you see somebody that's been in the craft for years and has got a ton of ritual that they've learnt, but still occasionally need that prompt, and you suddenly realise it's not about perfection, it's about everybody's doing their best. And I think that puts you at ease within the lodge. So the banter on the bikes and the jokes puts you at ease especially if you're the first one, if you're just coming in new. And I think that's where the road names come in as well. You've got to wonder why people are called the road names they are, and it can put people at ease. It's interesting that the different aspects. We were saying earlier on that sometimes it's perceived as a feeder to the lodges. I actually came into the craft first and then found out about Widow Sons and the Masonic Riding Association. So I came the other way, came in through the craft into the bikes, which is a great introduction. And as you said earlier, Trog, we've had people that have came in to Widow Son Solomon's Guard as associates, as non-Masons, and then came in to Freemasonry, largely because they can have a chat with somebody. There's people in the group that are Masons that they can ask and chat about. Do you see that that's something that lodges should embrace?
Oh, definitely. I think what we've seen as well, provincial in Midlothian and provincial in East Lothian have embraced Widow Son Solomon's Guard right from the word go. We've got the Provincial Grand Master of East Lothian is one of our honorary members. We have got Jim's reigning master of St John Kilburn 57 is one of our honorary members. We have got a couple of other honorary members. There is another one in the pipeline. So they're certainly embracing what we are and who we are, because a lot of that's got to know is to know the people.
It's certainly moved. I mean, I've been in the craft 16 years, been on the bike 10, and initially Widow Sons were portrayed as bikers and it was a bit standoffish, but as in Scotland there must be over 300 Masons who are bikers. So it's becoming the norm now in most lodges that you'll go into, you'll see somebody with a Widow Sons badge of whatever chapter they're in. So there's a lot out there, and there's a lot of high-profile Masons are Widow Sons. It's only good for Freemasonry and for the biking community, I think, as well, because you're not getting people are seeing us as Masons at charity events, thinking, wait a minute, that's a bunch of bikers, but they're out doing charity stuff. Oh, wait a minute, it's Masons. So there's that aspect to it as well. It's quite good for us. It takes the myths away from, one, the biking community and the Masonic community as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of preconceptions about who we are, Freemason-wise, and who are biker-wise. And as Strawbs says, hopefully this kind of thing will cancel those myths.
Yeah, it comes back to when people say, I didn't know you were a Mason, or I didn't know you were a biker. It's the preconception of what they have, that a biker is, that a Freemason is,
right.
Which is normal people. It just so happens that we have a collective interest that we like riding bikes, we like going about, we like doing things for charity, things like that. But it's not exclusive just to Freemasons. I think, the Widow Sons Fraternity International, for what I've seen on the social media and the people I've connected with, it's just full of people doing things for others, that involve bikes, involve families, involve kids, involve barbecues, weekends, all these sort of things. And, that's all stemmed from Freemasonry and bikes.
Does that then roll on to the events that we have been doing? We've obviously attended several galas where we've been out, just again, where we've went hand in hand, I would say, with the local Masonic lodge to that town, and Solomon's Guard, we've attended their motorbikes. So again, my view is, we are supporting, we're all Masons anyway. Sorry, there's a number of Master Masons in the biker fraternity who can obviously attend these lodges. But when we're out in the gala days, we are there, we're up front, we've got a common interest. We've got our motorbikes and we've got the Masons. But likewise, when we're getting involved with the public, you're talking about the mothers, fathers, kids, etc. They want to come and see the bikes. So whether we start them, occasionally we'll get a wee seat in them, you're basically getting involved with the community. You're getting to know who we are. Likewise, if there's flyers for ourselves or there's flyers for the local Masonic group, it invites them in, gives them the opportunity to actually go and see what's behind the doors of the lodge.
And we did so well with it last year.
We did, that's right.
We've been invited back to two main ones again this year.
I think that's the thing. It's this exposure and allowing people access to the lodge to come in, like the open door policy that the Grand Lodge has been putting out this year, but also the policy that people can come up and look at the bikes at festivals and fairs and things and gala days and, ask questions.
Well, I don't honestly think there's anything more open door than a bunch of Freemasons who are bikers standing chatting away to people in a gala. As you said, you're getting kids jumping about in the bikes as well, only if we allow them.
Oh,
That depends. But you couldn't be any more open than that, than opening your front doors to let people come in.
The last gala day we did, Jim, I agree with me this one day. We had a guy come up to us in his 80s, 90s, and he stood and chatted to us for ages, and it was only because of the bikes. And then we get keep
mention the Merlin,
people coming and asking why the time of the bikes, and say, well, we're Freemasons, and then they're going to the lodges and they're inquiring. So it's kind of drip feeding both. So it is a really good.
That's a good positive move.
I really quite enjoy them. Certainly that the last one. Well, obviously, we say being part of the gala, we've been in. I was in the park, but likewise, we've been involved with actual parades as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's excellent. You're getting to see a new town. Some people obviously travel from a bit further afield, so they may be involved. They've never seen that town before. They get to see the people, etc. And then likewise, you're speaking to one person who leads another, and it's just having that network of people that we know.
It's a nice thing to do, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So how did, and this is where, again, we do the Navy, asking the older guys, an age and Freemason, let's just get that dig in there. The concept of a Masonic Riding Association come about? Is it just because there was a bunch of Masons who happened to ride bikes so they got together, or was there that light bulb moment that said, look, this could be something bigger that benefits everybody?
That depends when you're starting from. Widow Sons originally started in the States. It's like everything. It's from America. It's from over the pond, and then it's come over here. And I think it was about 2005. Strawbs that Widow Sons Scotland first appeared.
Yeah,
I think
about early 2000.
Yeah.
They started. 7 guys decided they would start up the Widow Sons Scotland, and that grew over the 25 years.
Very slowly at first.
It took them a long time to go. I think for the first 7 years there was only 7 members, and then it kind of grew. And I think
the original brandings, as far as I'm led to believe, were up at St Leonard Lonehead 580.
Right. That's perseverance. That is, if it's a bit like we're thinking with the podcast. We'll start off small and hopefully it will grow. Yeah. But you've just got to keep persevering and doing it. And it's good to see that, starting off all those years ago with 7 people and, over 300 people nowadays in Scotland, plus whatever other chapters are involved.
Oh, yeah.
Umbrella, it's quite an achievement, and painting a different picture of Masonic bikers, Masonic riders, Freemasons, etc. Why do you think Freemason and riding fit so naturally together? Is it because of the structure that you were talking about earlier on, that when you go out, if you're riding properly as a group, you have to have a structure for safety and a structure within the group that fits within like the structure? Like what I'm trying to get is like it's like the president of a chapter, but like the right worshipful master of the lodge.
Yeah.
And in that respect of the sort of pecking order that's there, the structure.
I said earlier on that I think the guys might agree with this as well, is when you've been in the craft for as long as we have, you get used to being around like-minded folk. When you're in the bike clubs with the same like-minded folk, I think that's where everybody feels. Well, I'm comfortable there.
I think in Freemasonry, when you join and you do your entered apprentice degree, and it doesn't matter if you've got 10 pence or £10 million, money's of no value. And I think likewise in the biking community, it doesn't matter if you've got a top of the range superbike or a 50cc moped. 99.9% of the time when we're out about the bikes, you will wave to a fellow biker. Doesn't matter colour, creed, anything, what bike they've got, we all wave to each other. We all look after each other. Freemason is very, very similar. We all look after each other. So I think that's where the similarities are as well. Take aside the structure side of things. It doesn't matter. You can come into a lodge and you wouldn't know Joe for Adam. You wouldn't know what their job was. And on a bike's exactly the same. You can have lawyers, doctors, You can have a binman.
We're always
They're all the same.
Yeah,
and I think that's a commonality aspect of it.
I totally agree with what you're saying about the sort of camaraderie that's there, that everybody looks out for everybody. I mean, I've had a number of sort of instances over the years, and most recently, they're all laughing. Most recently, Diesel, tank, and they wondered why I'd broken down. But the number of bikers that stopped to check that I was all right. I mean, fair enough, there's not much you can do when you're on a bike because you're not carrying a whole toolkit with you, but to stop and check that you're all right, that you've been able to make a call to somebody. I even had an AA truck that stopped, and it turns out he only stopped because he was a biker, you know, and he was just making sure it was all right. I think that's right. I think that sort of camaraderie is there within Freemasonry as well, that we always want to check on how our brothers are doing and, you know, things like that. But I think the thing for me is that the Riding Association take it that one step further because it's also inclusive for non-Freemasons.
Yeah.
You know, you're not saying, I'm not really interested with you because you're not a brother, right? What you're saying is, I don't care if you're a brother, I still have that fellowship with you. And I also say, if you're a female as well, because Widows Son Solomon's Guard has female associate members as well. It's as inclusive as it can be. Everybody's welcome. I know that there will be organisations that aren't, and some are like a golf club where it's, you know, gentlemen only. Like, why did Widows Son Solomon's Guard take that approach to be an all-inclusive organisation?
So back in 2022, Princess, Trog, we were members of Widows Son Scotland. At the time, our direction didn't kind of fall in line with my Masonic values, and one thing left to another, we decided to leave. I was a bit disillusioned with the whole Widow Sons at the time, and a guy in Colonel boy Jim Gale reached out to us and said, don't be disheartened, there's another avenue for you to go down, and hence the reason why the Grand Chapter scenario in Widow Son Solomon's Guard materialised. So we travelled to Kent and got to Cornwall and got chartered by these guys, and we are now part of the Grand Chapter set up in the UK. And there's over 250 just in the Grand Chapter side of things.
Because Wales are quite big as well, aren't they?
Wales have got 2 Grand Chapters. Devon, Cornwall, Grand Chapters down there. There's Santa Lucia's, with Jim Gale's now the president. He's a VP now. The ethos these guys had fell in line with what we believed we wanted to go forward. The added bonus was they had associate members, non-Masons, and we thought that's a great avenue. And they had female members. So we weren't just a boys' club. We opened it up, and everything that they set out and showed us what to do just fell in line with everything that we felt was the right way to do it. And hence the reason that's why we formed. It was tough at first, not going to lie, but we weathered the storm. I think we're in a strong position now. I'll be coming off as president, and my successor are sitting in this room.
Thanks.
For me, the initial concept, I'm proud. It's one of Masonically, apart from getting in the lodge, out with it, this has been my baby. It's come to fruition. So
it's developed and grown over the years.
And it's not just me, it's the guys that are in the chapter, everybody that helps, not just the Masons, the associates. It's just what we are and what we set out to be.
It's a bit like what we were talking in a previous episode when we said about Freemasonry and going into the mansion house with all the different doors.
Yeah.
There's some orders that you'll like, there's some orders that will not be for you. And it's the same, I would imagine it's the same with the Widow Sons fraternity. On the biking side, there'll be some chapters that are for you and some aren't, because everybody has different ideas of where they want to go with it. I mean, I love being a member of Widow Son Solomon's Guard. I love being a member of Widow Sons fraternity internationally. I think it's great. I see a lot of people doing good things. I totally agree with what you said earlier. The banter's brilliant. The friendships run. Some of the weekend trips and that we've had, and the gathering and stuff. It's just been a blast. And it is just, let's go just enjoy ourselves and enjoy everybody's camaraderie and friendship that's there. And I think, from, as we were saying earlier about the 7 guys that started away back in the day to 40 over 300, everything's got to start somewhere. So if you start with 4 people back in the day and you're sitting at 20, you're growing. You must be doing something right for people to come along. I like seeing the other chapters when you see the pictures, and there is family involvement. There is. So as you say, it's not just a boys' club. Yeah, maybe there's a boys' club that is just, that's what suits their idea and what they want to do, which is fine. Otherwise golf clubs wouldn't exist.
What's that?
Whereas there's the option of saying, well, we want to do that, but make it more open and inclusive. So the inclusivity, just for anybody that's listening out there that thinks about it, where does the inclusivity come to with regards to motorcycle requirements?
Anybody
just before we go a bit further, just inclusivity. We've actually got husbands and wives, boyfriends, girlfriends in our group as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's not just, yes, we have obviously single guy, single woman, etc. in the club, but, we do have partnerships there, male, female. So, that's again inclusive. You can imagine if your husband, boyfriend, whatever, girlfriend, etc., away every Saturday, Sunday on the motorbike. However, you're a fellow biker, you want to go as well. We, under Solomon's guard, couldn't allow that. You might get the hump. Whereas, by all means, welcome. You're welcome into the group and come along.
We're talking about pillion passengers here. We're talking about people that are actually husbands and wives that have their own bikes.
Separate bikes.
Just that, not to that, we do have a social side where non-biking partners can come along. I mean, Strawbs, you've hosted a number of events like barbecues and things like that, where, our wives and partners can all come together. It is one big family.
Yep.
It's a bit like the lodge. There's the aspect where we do what's inside the lodge, and there's the aspect where we have the annual duck balls and dances where our partners can come along so they can still be involved in there. So jumping back to the motorbikes.
Motorbikes, yep.
What's the sort of, is there a minimum requirement that's involved?
Full bike licence, we require members to have a full bike licence. CC doesn't matter. We've had one of our members who was a Master Mason at the time but was on a 125, felt he couldn't join, and then we adopted the rules to allow him to join. He's now an active member. He's got a bigger bike now. I mean, we cater. If somebody wants to come along and they're on a 125, we'll adjust the ride to suit that. We can't have learners as members, but we can have learners coming on the riders if they want to come and see what we're all about. We will just adjust the riding to suit these guys.
And we scored out of that one because he's now an affiliate member of Colton Curry, and
Yes.
he's also our Bible bearer. Yeah.
Don't mention,
Following on social media, he's a happy chappy.
don't mention Fred's at all, just in case things we're picking on.
He's getting married in a few months, and we're looking forward to that.
No, he's going to hopefully try and introduce me Charlie Burman, so I'm on his good side. Okay, so what about the charitable side of Solomon's Guard? What sort of things have you done? Do you want to do? Any idea, any things that you want to share with the listeners?
So from concept, initially 2022, our main charity was M&D. Princess, who unfortunately isn't here at the moment, he done some crazy stunts, ran 178 miles over 3 days, he done five events over a period of 2 years. And as I think we raised something like £26,000 the first 2 years we were formed, predominantly ME and the Doddy Weir Foundation. Moving on from there, our chosen charity this year is Blood Bikes. We've assisted Pavel, one of our members, with the Edinburgh Combat Society as well, and we've donated numerous times, and I'm sure, Donkey, you could get the figures more because you're the treasurer in our group. Yeah, charity's a big thing. We try and pick a main charity per year, maybe 2 years, it just depends, and then we'll make that the focus of the charitable donations. But at the same time, we might have something like the Easter egg run where we'll go and we'll donate £100 or something like that. It's just ad hoc during the year. As I say, generally this year and potentially next year, Blood Bikes is our main focus.
Given, obviously, so Scotland, what area does it cover within Scotland? And, where's the lodge links in there? Are all the lodges in the one place?
So to get our charter, the way the Grand Chapter works was we had to be a province. So initially, when we set this up, I am a member of Lodge St Andrew Denell Head 176, which is in the province of Stirlingshire. So the initial chapter was set up as the province of Stirlingshire, but as we were at the time one of two chapters in Scotland, there was no boundaries. Moving on from there, 2025, we were rechartered to be the Grand Chapter in Scotland. Because we had members in different areas, we didn't want to be stuck just in Stirlingshire, so we've kind of broadened that. We will take members from anywhere in Scotland.
We've got a member who's looking to come in from. Is it open tonight?
Open,
Yes. We didn't want to have boundaries like east and west. We just kind of try, we will go and visit all these areas and we do that in the ride-outs, but we want to try and make it that it's not fair for somebody who's up in Dundee. They've got to come to Edinburgh all the time. The guys in Edinburgh are quite willing to go to Dundee, as are we in the Central region. So we just make it, we decided at the beginning we didn't want to be one area, hence the whole Scotland. Their charter initially was Stirlingshire through the Masonic side of things because it had to be a province.
And do you think there's been a bit of scepticism from the lodges about Masonic Riding Associations, or is that sort of flitting away now because they're seeing people that they know that are riding and they're being a bit more acceptive of? I mean, we talked earlier about how some of the lodges had asked us out to their gala days and things like that, so there is an element of that scepticism breaking down, but are there still some lodges that think, no, there's not a place for Masonic?
On the whole, no, I think on the whole, they're basically, I wouldn't say accepting us, they're actually taking us on board. But I know for a fact there's obviously St. John Kilwinning, or 57, the master there is not a biker, but he's embraced, in my eyes, what we do. You can see what the majority of us are all Master Masons. We're doing the charitable side. It's obviously in line with what his expectations are. So he's embracing us. And I know there's other people that are in the same mindset, you might say.
John Gray, he's the reigning master of Dunbar Castle now, isn't he?
Dunbar, that's good.
He's also one of our honorary members, and John's not a biker either, but he loves his club. He really enjoys his time there.
You always see the link that's there between the values and people.
That's it. It's the people, and the values they're following the people.
Yeah, they can see what we're doing. You know, we're obviously, we must be doing something right. The fact that, you know, our numbers are expanding over the years. So, you know, people wouldn't come to a group, you know, a team, whatever you want to call it, you know, Solomon's Guard.
The fact that we've been asked again to go to another couple of galas, in my eyes, is we're doing something right.
Yeah, because we're heading to the Pennycook Gala this year. We're part of the parade again, and we're also up at the Lone Head Gala. And there is other talks. There's something about Musselburgh as well, so I was hearing.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially Musselburgh?
Yeah, some involvement there, so we're still in discussion. Do you think that involvement in these sort of gala days and exposure to the public is going to help provide people with a better understanding of Freemasonry as well?
It has to do. Quite simple, it has to. I know for a fact that Musselburgh, Fisher Row, they had their open door event recently. Unfortunately, they didn't get a great footfall. However, the same gentlemen, they were at one of the markets in Musselburgh, and again, they were sitting there, giving their flyers out. And again, I'm thinking to myself, had we been there, you know, as in Solid Guards, with the bikes, rather than just their gazebo, you know, 2 metre by 2 metre, 3 metre by 3 metre, if we were there, but again, it's people are coming across to see the bikes, or likewise, they come across to, you know, want to see the Masonic side of it, and then, to me, we can take them forward hand in hand. So you've got that, it's like dangling the wee carrot, you know, the attraction to get the people across, get them involved, and then you take it forward.
Yeah, it's probably possibly also an easy in the sense that you're coming across to see the bike, so that's the introduction, which you can then have a conversation of what's Freemasonry about, rather than the direct thing where you're going to have to walk in to the lodge and then you might get a barrage of questions. So, I totally agree with that in the sense that it's a good introduction there.
Eases you in because, well, certainly prior to myself joining the lodge, I was always, you know, it's a big secret. Do you really want to go down that route? Whereas it's, you know, you're in a relaxed situation, as you say, knock on the door and walk into the lodge. Well, there's not many people comfortable just to do that. However, you know, as you say, if you've got that easy way in to talk about the motorbikes, then talk about the lodge, it's a good icebreaker.
A couple of quick fire final questions just as we get near the end here. There's one here that I thought was quite interesting. What moments have made you proudest to wear your patch?
I always remember, it was last year in Carron Valley, we were all sitting lined up at Falkirk Peel Car Park, and I was further back in the queue, as it were, and looking forward, all I could see was our guys. You know, I remember, and I just thought, that's absolutely excellent. In fact, I've actually got a couple of photos of it. I just thought it was phenomenal. You see there, there was, I don't know how many 100 bikers were there, but, you know, we were a small majority of the 100, you know, where we were 15, 20 bikers. However, you actually sit at the back and look forward, you think, that's excellent. Here we are, charitable event, and, you know, we're a part of that group.
Doing what we do best.
Do what we do best.
A couple of final questions, and we'll take an answer from each of you. Okay, we'll go first with Strawbs. Favourite ride?
Favourite ride? I would say did one a couple of years ago. We went Burnt Island and away up to Andrews. In fact, we went to Five Bobs. I quite like that one up there. Every time I get on the bike, I get a buzz. I actually get a buzz, and it's like I could go 20 minutes on the bike and think that was brilliant, or I could go all day. It's just I mean, I went down to ride to Wall in a storm, and my missus said I was mad, but it was a brilliant laugh.
Yeah.
Would I do it again? But it's just going out with your mates on the bike, 20-minute run, 5-hour run. Every single one of them's got their own merits.
Because you're on that bike.
Bike, that's it. That's the biggest thing for me. I was late coming on the bikes. I had the bike when I was 17, waited till I was 49 to pass my test. It's the best thing I've ever done.
You've got to stay on two wheels right now. I've seen you on its side a few times actually.
Aye.
But that was real manoeuvre.
Somebody will come at you and get the best road in Scotland.
Oh, best road. Oh, let me think. Sorry, without any bends actually. I like the straight roads. I'm not really a guy for going around corners too quick. I quite like my straight roads.
Jim likes his straight roads because I was in front of him in Ireland and then I was behind him in Ireland all of a sudden.
No, in Scotland, there's a road. I'm just trying to think. It's up, like Kelskew. Kelskew, is that the way you say it? Kelskew?
Kilmacalls.
Is it Kelskew, the bridge? I'm sure it's called Kelskew. Something like that anyway. Beautiful road up there.
You've done a fair bit of touring anyway, haven't you? Like you've done a lot of touring.
I've been very fortunate. There's another group. Well, when I was working, I'm fortunate to be retired, by the way. When I was working, there was a group of us. We used to head off. Again, people I worked with, obviously played rugby with in the past. These guys, we've been going away since 2007 up north. We were fortunate even through lockdown. We headed up north and we basically enjoy the Highlands. Simple as that. And again, it's taken. There's so many beautiful roads up north. I mean, I'll tell you, right, one of the best roads, I shouldn't say maybe the quickest road, is from Ullapool back to Inverness. Usually, we make our way out in an outing someplace, whether we go up through Laird or whether we go up. We end up Ullapool and you're heading back to Inverness. That's a beautiful road just to take in. You come right down the centre there, and it's just free flowing. Okay, there's bends, but it's a beautiful road to run. So anybody that's been up that, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Well, I can let you know because I'm doing the North Coast 500 in June. So I'm doing that for 13.
I just remembered a ride that we did in Donkey. You were actually there, and I've got to say it was one of my favourite rides with your whiskey tour. Best mileage of my bike I've ever got was sitting behind you. Taking away, the weather was fantastic. We just plodded along for a full day, and it was amazing.
Just before we move on there, can I ask, just answer one question about rides? There was one of the rides we were on. I brought one of my mates along, Mick. We met Mick there at Services, and that was just a great day. See the number of members that we had out in the day. The fact I had a non-Masonic rider, non-Solomon's Guard rider, and he was blown away. Well, as you know, he came back on another ride. He's also been to a social event, and he was blown away by the hospitality of the guys. He just thought how welcoming we are. The pace was good. It's a part of the country he's never been to before. Yeah. So it's all these things. It's not just...
He was at a gathering.
Was it a gathering? That's right. Yeah. Oh, I know. So he enjoys it.
We've got a couple of guys from your BNI group that come out with us as well.
Yeah, a few guys will come out now and then. That's it. It's just all about riding together and enjoying it, enjoying the banter. Question for either of you who wants to answer it. Who's most likely to miss the turning?
Oh, that'll be me. Easy.
Actually, so Princess or standby road captain missing the turning. He plans a ride, and he still gets lost.
The next one is an easy one for us to answer. Who spends the longest polishing the bike?
Oh, that's easy. Jim.
Jim's bike hibernates for most of the year, but when it does come out, it is.
Is it?
Yeah. That's not yet. No. The duvet's still there. It's under his duvet.
Duvet in the garage. And the last one, who is first to go for a T-stop or a fuel stop first?
Fuel, probably me, because my cruiser doesn't hold as much.
Me now with my Harley, but the BMW was all right.
No, I know. I said T. I said T, no.
Stroke food stop.
If you go for a food, that's different.
Well, but Jim being retired, he does that almost every day. Like social media is just full of booking buddies and coffee.
I like to do a wee recon now and again. You know what I mean? Get out and about.
Finally, in one sentence from each of you, and thank you very much for coming along today and sitting here and having a bit of banter with us. in one sentence, what does Solomon's Guard mean to you, Strawbs?
Camaraderie.
Well, I would like to say that same word. Enjoyment, getting out there, meeting people, again, networking. You're seeing different parts of the country, you're meeting different people. I know, it's just a long sentence. There's very few punctuations on this one, by the way.
What a good friend of mine. It's got a long story short.
That's cut a long story short. There's multifaceted, you might say.
He's still got.
That's quite good for
You
you.
like that?
In case Jim hasn't mentioned it, he's a retired engineer. So multifaceted.
I'll correct you on that. He's a retired electrical engineer. There's a difference.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming along today. Thank you for sharing all your thoughts and everything about Widdowson, Solomon's Guard, about biking and the female street. It's very much appreciated. Anything from you, Trog?
I'm sure we can also do a follow-up with this one later on in the year. Once we get going in the riding season, it'd be nice to come back. And also, since we've been going around with some of the lodges over the last few weeks, one of the things that's come back from them all is maybe put a wee snippet on at the end of the podcast for any events that are going on, important events that are going on in the Masonic lodges. So if they want to drop us a line or just let us know when they meet us out and about, we'll make sure we can make a mention for them at the end of the show.
Okay, folks, if you've got that, so if you've got any events coming up, lodge events, things like that, drop us a message through social media, through our Facebook page, all that, and we'll do our best to give you a mention. Thanks again for listening, and take care if you are out there riding, because the weather is changing from day to day. So ride safe. That's all from Donkey.
From Trog.
And we'll catch you later, folks.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.